Ya, nanti kalau saya ke sana. Ya.
Ujian promosi Doktor Pendidikan Pasca Sarjana Universitas Negeri Semarang, Rabu 10 Agustus 2022, Program Studi Ilmu Pendidikan Bahasa S3, atas nama Saudara Abdurahman Ahmed Ali Milad M.Pd dimulai. Sekretaris Penguji melaporkan kepada Ketua Penguji bahwa ujian promosi Doktor Pendidikan siap dimulai.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bapak Rektor yang amat cendekia, para penguji yang sangat terpelajar, para tamu undangan yang kami hormati, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Pada hari ini, Rabu 10 Agustus 2022, Program Studi Ilmu Pendidikan Bahasa S3 Pasca Sarjana Universitas Negeri Semarang mengajukan Saudara Abdurahman Ahmed Ali Milad M.Pd sebagai promovendus untuk dapat diujikan disertasinya yang berjudul Perception of Teachers and Students toward the implementation of the communicative approach to teach English language then from gender, psychological and socio-cultural factors. The case study of Libyan high schools in Homs. Perlu saya laporkan kepada Bapak Rektor bahwa promovendus telah menyelesaikan semua perkuliahan serta telah menjalani beberapa tahapan pengujian disertasi sebelumnya di Pasca Sarjana UNES dan kesemuanya dinyatakan lulus serta telah memenuhi syarat untuk ujian disertasi tahap kedua ini. Oleh karena itu, saya mohon Bapak Rektor selaku Ketua Penguji berkenan untuk membuka dan sekaligus memimpin ujian disertasi secara resmi. Akhirul kalam, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Saudara promovendus, saat ini Bapak Rektor sedang ada acara lain. Beliau menugasi saya untuk membuka sekaligus memimpin ujian ini. Apakah saudara bersedia ujian ini saya buka dan saya pimpin?
Yes, bro.
Oke. Terima kasih. Apakah saudara dalam keadaan sehat jasmani rohani?
Yes, bro. Saya sehat jasmani dan rohani.
Apakah benar karya ilmiah yang nanti saudara pertahankan adalah hasil karya saudara sendiri?
Yes, bro.
Silakan saudara baca dan tanda tangani surat pernyataan keaslian.
Yes, bro. Pernyataan keaslian. Dengan ini saya nama Abdurahman Ahmed Milad. NEM 020-161-8026. Program Studi Pendidikan Bahasa Inggris S3. Menyatakan bahwa yang tertulis dalam disertasi yang berjudul Perceptions of Teachers and Students Towards the Implementation of the Communicative Approach to Teach English Language Seen from Gender, Psychological, and Socio-Cultural Factors, the Case Study of Libyan High Schools in Homs. Ini benar-benar karya saya sendiri, bukan ciplakan dari karya orang lain atau mengutipkan dengan cara-cara yang tidak sesuai dengan etika keilmuan yang berlaku. Baik sebagian atau seluruhnya, pendapat atau temuan orang lain yang terdapat dalam disertasi ini dikutip atau dirujuk berdasarkan kode etik ilmiah. Atas pernyataan ini, saya secara pribadi siap menanggung risiko sanksi hukum yang dijatuhkan apabila dimutuhkan adanya pelanggaran terhadap etika keilmuan dalam karya ini. Semarang 10 Agustus 2022. Yang membuat pertanyaan Abdurahman Ahmed Ali Milad.
Yang membuat pernyataan. Nah, silakan tanda tangani.
Ya, Bro.
Ya, tunjukkan. Oke, cukup. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ujian promosi doktor pendidikan Saudara Abdurahman Ahmed Ali Milad M.Pd secara resmi saya nyatakan dibuka. Berikut saya bacakan susunan tim penguji saudara. Ketua Profesor Dr. Abdurahman M.Hum, Sekretaris Profesor Dr. Agus Nuryatin M.Hum, anggota penguji pertama Profesor Dr. Suwandi M.Pd, terima kasih Prof. Andi. Penguji kedua Profesor Sri Wuli Fitriati M.Pd PhD.
Siap Pak Direktur.
Terima kasih Prof. Wuli.
Sami-sami.
Penguji ketiga Profesor Dr. Januarius Mujianto M.Hum. Terima kasih Prof. Jan. Ya. Penguji keempat Profesor Dr. Rudi Hartono M.Pd.
Terima kasih Pak Direktur.
Sama-sama, terima kasih. Penguji kelima Dr. Rahayu Puji Haryanti M.Hum.
Ya, Prof.
Terima kasih Bu Yayu. Penguji keenam Profesor Dr. Dwi Rukmini M.Pd. Terima kasih Bu Dwi Rukmini. Silakan selanjutnya Saudara Promovendus untuk berdoa terlebih dahulu. Silakan Saudara paparkan karya Saudara, waktu maksimal 15 menit.
Oke, Bro. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I would like to thank you all for giving me the chance to present my dissertation. Honorable examiners, Board of Examiners, Professor Dr. Abdurahman, Professor Dr. Agus Nuryatin, Professor Dr. Suwandi, Professor Dr. Sri Wuli Fitrianti, Professor Dr. Januarius Mujianto, Professor Dr. Rudi Hartono, Dr. Rahayu Puji Haryanti, Professor Dr. Dwi Rukmini. Thank you all for giving me the chance to present my dissertation entitled Perceptions of Teachers and Students Towards the Implementation of the Communicative Approach to Teach English Language Seen from Gender, Psychological, and Socio-Cultural Factors. Since the time given is only 15 minutes, so I cannot explain everything about my dissertation. So I would like to present in brief about the important points that I have in my study, or my dissertation, and the rest could be discussed later in the question and answer session. Let me introduce the introduction first. Since English language is known widely as the most spoken language in the world, so in Libya, it is implemented as a foreign language. And from the notion of language as a communicative approach, starts the teaching of English language in Libya. The communicative approach is defined by several experts and several scholars by different definitions. One of them is, or the general one is, a set of principles. Language teaching depends most on language as communication. So communication is the goal of teaching, using or implemented when implementing the communicative approach. As the communicative approach is widely accepted or widely presented in different countries, so it is implemented differently, depends on the socio-cultural context of the country, or depends on the psychological context of the country, etc. For the second slide, about background of the study. Since the communicative approach is implemented based on the language curriculum of high schools in Libya. So the curriculum, the English language curriculum in Libya implements or applies the communicative approach, as it is believed that gives more freedom to teachers and students to interact or to use the language. Because in Libya, there was a ban of English language from the streets due to political reasons between Libya and the West. So it was banned for more than 10 years. It was banned from the streets, from the side of streets, from the schools, universities, everywhere. So English language was banned for more than 10 years. Adapting the approach, the communicative approach, means modifying the principles. So there is a difference between to adopt the approach or to adapt. To adopt it, it means to take it as it is, the main version of the communicative approach. But to adapt it, it means to make some modifications to the approach in order to meet the learner's needs. There are some reasons, or 4 main reasons of choosing this topic. Generally, the communicative approach is one of the most important teaching and learning approaches in the universe. And the second one was to investigate the implementation of the communicative approach in Libyan context, to investigate the perceptions towards its implementation. So perceptions of teachers and students were investigated towards the implementation of the communicative approach in Libyan high schools, as will be discussed later. To investigate also the perceptions regarding to gender, psychological, and socio-cultural factors when implementing the communicative approach. For the research questions carried this study, there were 6 main research questions. The first research question was, how do teachers perceive the implementation of the communicative approach to teach English language in Libyan high schools in Qom City? Qom City is my hometown in Libya. It is located in the center of Libya, around 120 kilometers from the capital, Tripoli. The second research question was, how is the planning of the communicative approach to teach English in Libyan high schools in Qom City? And the third research question was, how do teachers and students sorry, there's a mistake, writing teachers twice here, perceive the implementation of the communicative approach to teach English language in Libyan high schools in Qoms, seen from gender factors. The fourth research question was, how do teachers and students perceive the implementation of the communicative approach to teach English language in Libyan high schools, seen from psychological factors? The fifth research question was, how do teachers and students perceive the implementation of the communicative approach to teach English language in Libyan high schools, seen from socio-cultural factors? And the sixth research question was, how is the evaluation of the communicative approach to teach English language in Libyan high schools in Qom City? The significance of the study, theoretically, to support the theories of teaching and learning, especially the CLT method. Practically, to overcome the problems regarding to the implementation of the communicative approach, especially in Libyan high schools in Qom City. Pedagogically, the study is expected to enrich teachers' information about the implementation of the communicative approach, whether adopting or adapting. And consequently, after this study, teachers gained more knowledge about how to implement the communicative approach. For the research methodology, this study employs a qualitative approach to explain individual views and perspectives about the implementation of the communicative approach, especially the perceptions and understanding of its implementation. It explains as well as explains about the planning and the evaluation of the communicative approach. And this study also provides a model of lesson plan or activities that should be used in the lesson plan when adapting the communicative approach in the targeted high schools. For the instruments that I use in conducting the data, Perception questionnaire to teachers, open questionnaires to students, observing the curriculum and the lesson plans given in the curriculum and its lesson plans from teachers, and interviews with teachers. The participants of this study were 6 English teachers from 6 high schools. So 6 high schools, since in Libya, schools are divided based on gender. So there are male high schools, female high schools, and mixed gender high schools. So the targeted participants were 6 teachers from 6 gender-based high schools, and as well as 6 students from 6 gender-based high schools. Allow me to introduce, to present the findings of this study, which were about perception, which was the first research question. In general, teachers have positive perceptions towards the implementation of the communicative approach to teach English language in Libyan high schools in Coms city. For the planning of the communicative approach, I have, as I have mentioned earlier, the curriculum implements the communicative approach, but the adopted version of the communicative approach, but the teachers shift the implementation or shift the implementation of the communicative approach, are not following the same lesson plans given in the curriculum in order to meet the students' needs. For the gender factors, there were some positive and negative perceptions, but in general, negative perceptions were given towards mixed gender high schools when implementing the adopted version of the communicative approach. For the psychological factors, there was a motivation from teachers to students, especially in mixed gender high schools and female high schools. But outside the class or in the society, there was some negative motivation when the students use English outside the classroom, as well as students, especially in mixed gender high schools, were shy to speak or shy to participate, and especially in joining group activities. For the socio-cultural factors, as I've mentioned earlier, there's motivation from the society, and most of the students prefer to be silent in class because it is an effect of Libyan culture. As in Libya, children are grown up to obey, to accept what elders say. So they feel shy to interrupt the teacher, even though the teacher was given a mistake or incorrect information. So they prefer to not to interrupt the teacher and accept. For the evaluation of the implementation of the communicative approach, there was a need of special treatment, especially for mixed gender classes when implementing the group activities. For the conclusions, English teachers in Libyan high schools have positively perceived the implementation of the communicative approach to teach English language in Libyan high schools in Coms city. Some teachers ignore the lesson plans given in the curriculum in order to meet the students' needs and the allocated time. For gender, psychological, and socio-cultural factors, they affect or they have some negative perceptions towards the psychological and socio-cultural factors. The special treatment of different gender schools is needed to, in terms of activities used in the classroom, especially in mixed gender high schools. There were some suggestions given to stakeholders, teachers, students, and researchers as well, to stakeholders to consider the diversity of gender-based high schools when designing the curriculum, especially when designing the lesson plans inside the curriculum, as well activities and materials. To teachers to modify the approach, not the culture. So teachers are advised or suggested to modify the approach, to adapt the approach, not to go back to traditional approaches explicitly. Students, they were suggested to engage in summer schools with native speakers in order to learn about Western culture or the targeted language culture. Two researchers suggested to conduct studies with larger number of participants and to study more about the influence of factors and treatments to mixed schools. This is all from me. I hope I explained everything clearly. So the time is given to, we go back to Prof. Dr. Agus Nurianti.
Oke, makasih. Selanjutnya akan ada pertanyaan dan sanggahan dari para penguji. Dimulai dari penguji pertama, Profesor Dr. Suwanti M.Pd. Silakan Prof, waktu maksimal 10 menit.
Terima kasih Bapak Profesor Dr. Nurianti atas kesempatan yang diberikan kepada saya untuk ujian terbuka Saudara Milad. Congratulations Milad for finishing the draft of your dissertation.
Thank you, bro.
First of all, let me give you comments. Yeah, this format, is much better than ever before, but there are still some inappropriate margins, that you have. For example, on page 3 and 4, could you take a look? Yeah,
Page 3 and 4.
3 and 4, and some others. So as I have told you earlier, that the margin for the upper part should be 4, and left hand side 4,
3, 3.
and then right hand side 3, and bottom 3.
Yes, and they
So
are.
No, that's too narrow. You can compare with other pages. Or maybe because different
Microsoft Word, perhaps.
render, maybe.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Okay, and then the motto, I think we have already agreed upon the motto in this station, that the motto in this station should be educational one, not the personal one. This is personal one, and it should be short but concise, reflecting the case of your research result.
Yes. Bro.
Maybe in this dissertation, the motto maybe should be more or less like this. Communicative approach, accelerate speaking skill. That's it, like this. This is much better than the personal one, because you are doing your research on communicative approach, and it is proof that communicative approach could accelerate speaking skill, let's say. So this could be in the motto. Okay, and then the title of your dissertation, perceptions of teachers and students towards the implementation of the communicative approach to teach English language seen from gender, psychology, and socio-cultural factors. I'm interested in the title seen from gender. So do you think that gender may affect the result of the study?
Yes, Prof. Thank you for the question. Actually, gender does affect the implementation of the communicative approach, especially in mixed gender high schools, since the cultural or the Libyan cultural setting does not give the chance to mixed gender students to interact with each other, maybe to get involved in group activities. We can see the students always avoid to participate in gender groups or mixed gender groups inside the classroom. So this affects the implementation of the communicative approach, because the communicative activities will not be implemented as they should be. So that's why one of the suggestions given to the teachers to divide the groups, to make, for example, male groups and female groups when making pair or group activities, not mixed groups.
Okay, which one is more effective? Mixing the students, male and female students in a classroom, or separating the students from male to female?
Actually, based on the findings of the study, female school were more effective, only female schools. But
You mean separating the gender is more effective?
based on the findings of the study, but if teachers follow the suggestions given from this study or follow the results given from this study, mixed gender high schools will be more effective than male or separated genders.
Okay, so mixed gender should be more effective
Yes.
than separating the gender. Okay, my further question is dealing with the human's brain, yeah, in which it is admitted that female brain is different from male brain.
Yes.
Do you agree with this?
Yes, bro.
Yes. What's the difference, and which one is smarter, male or female?
Actually, if we go to participating in the classroom, students from male, female, and mixed gender high schools, they all participate, but individually. But if we go to mixed gender high school and participating individually, female always tend to participate more than males. And it is explained in the discussion part that females always like to show the smarter than males, so that's why they participate individually more than males.
Very good. So, well, I think it is also in line with the theory that the left brain person is described as logical, analytical, and orderly.
Yes.
And females are usually smarter than males.
Yes,
because
it is.
Because the male is a right brain person, creative, emotional, and intuitive. Emotional and intuitive. Okay. So, okay, because we have some minutes, come to the suggestions. Well, it seems that your suggestions have nothing to do with the result of your study. If you want to suggest to the Libyan government, let's say for having a new policy, for instance, telling that mixed gender enhance the students' learning result, and then the government will set up a new policy for this kind of class. So that the government should not make a policy separating the students based on gender. What do you think?
Actually, bro, the suggestions were given based on the activities model provided in page 103, the activities or the lesson plan model. Because when implementing the communicative approach, using the lesson plan given in the curriculum, especially in mixed gender high schools, teachers find difficulties or find challenges in implementing the lesson plan given in the curriculum. So they tend to go back to traditional methods. And the aim of this study is not to go back to traditional methods, as the literature shows in Libya, but to modify the approach, to go to the adapted version of the communicative approach in order to meet the students' needs. And then by time, we will implement the communicative approach as it is. So that is why it's given suggestion for the curriculum designers to give special treatment to mixed gender high schools.
Okay, thank you. Now back to your theoretical framework. Well, I think you do not know how to develop the theoretical framework. If I'm not mistaken, last time in the closed examination, I have already suggested to you to revise your theoretical framework, right? I don't know what basis do you have here in setting up your theoretical framework. You do not mention any theories as the basis of the theoretical framework.
Yes, Prof. Thank you for the suggestions, and I apologize for not following this. But the theory is in the center. The implementation of the communicative approach.
Yeah, but you do not mention here in
The theory,
part of
yes,
your
not mentioned in the theoretical background. Yes, Prof.
yeah. Yeah. So let me show you how to develop a theoretical framework. First, examine your thesis title and research problem. Yeah, you focus on this. And what do you consider to be the key variables in your research? And then review related literature to find answers to your research questions and list the constructs and variables that might be relevant to your study. Yes. Okay, because time is over. So thank you very much for your answers. And Bapak Direktur, terima kasih. Saya kembalikan waktunya kepada Bapak. Terima kasih.
Baik, terima kasih Prof. Suwandi. Penguji berikut, Profesor Sri Wuli Fitriati M.Pd PhD. Dipersilakan, Prof. Waktu maksimal 10 menit.
Baik, terima kasih Bapak Direktur Pasca Sarjana Profesor Dr. Agus Nuryatin M.Hum yang saya hormati. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon, Pak Milad.
Good afternoon, bro.
Yes, directly I'd like to point out the previous question from Prof. Wandi, because I also have the same question related to your theoretical framework. Okay. Can you please open your dissertation, page 34? Yeah.
Yes.
If you, your answer to Prof. Wandi's question about the theories that you used, perhaps you need to understand that what we mean by theories here is that the theories underlying your interpretation of the findings. Yeah, I understand that you focus on the implementation of a communicative approach in the schools, and you see from the lesson plan, the planning, right? The perceptions, teachers and students' perception, and also you did the evaluation on the implementation. Yeah, and you focus on at least 3 variables, right, Pak Milad?
Yes,
Socio-cultural factor, gender factor, and psychological factor. Yeah, to make it explicit, when you analyze your data, when you interpret your findings in discussion and findings and discussion chapter, we do not see any explanatory, any adequate explanation, yeah, what theories that you use to make that interpretation. What I mean is, for example, the theories of teaching and learning. So what's your comment about that, Pak Milad?
Yes, Prof. It is not mentioned in the theoretical, thank you for the question first. It is not mentioned in the theoretical framework, but I followed Richardson's Campbell theory. About the communicative approach. I also explained some about sensibility theory also in the chapter 2.
Yeah, that's the theory of communicative approach and the theory of communicative competence that you mentioned. What I mean is the theory, how you say a lot about the psychological factor, about gender factor, about social-cultural factor, or okay, let make it easier. Yeah, when you have this bubble, this circle, in the circle of gender factor, you divide into 2, non-mixed high schools and mixed high school. But in the social-cultural factor, you do not have anything.
Division. Yeah.
Psychological factor, you also do not have anything.
Mhm.
So please explain about that.
Yes, Prof. Thank you for the question. Actually, the gender factor is divided into two bubbles or two circles because, as I have mentioned earlier, in Libya, schools are divided based on gender. So
Yeah.
there are mixed gender schools
Right.
and non-mixed gender high schools.
Yeah.
For the non-mixed gender high schools, they divide into two other bubbles or two other schools: individual female schools and individual male schools. But for the socio-cultural factors or the psychological factors, when implementing when conducting the data, the questionnaire is divided into, for example, the attitudes, for example, the psychological attitude, motivation, class anxiety, test anxiety, but not not mentioned in the theoretical framework.
Yeah, so
Because
that's good.
it needs
Yeah.
more than one page. So.
That's good. Your explanation is much better than this representation of the figure of theoretical framework.
Yeah, that is why.
So please put it there, Pak Milad. Yeah.
Okay, bro.
So your readers will understand better that that there are sub variables in psychological factor and also social cultural factor.
Yes,
and
bro.
can you please make it more attractive, because this is dissertation? So the form of the theoretical framework, please make it more convincing for your readers.
Okay, bro.
Okay, now let's talk about your methodology, Pak Milad. Yes, I understand, because of the situation and condition of the pandemic, when you did collect the data, when you did this study, if I'm not mistaken, you told me in the closed exam that you did not observe directly. Yeah, it means that you did not go back to your home country, and you collected the data via questionnaire, analyzing the lesson plans and also interview, right?
Yes, bro.
Okay. Now, how about your description, the description on page 38 about the situation, the condition of the school? How are you so sure about this thing that you presented in your dissertation? Paragraph 2, yeah, learning in high schools, in homes classes, and so on. So is it the result from your observation or from the interview or what, Pak Milad?
Okay, thank you, bro, for the question. Actually, for the description given in page 37, the subject of study, 37
yes.
and 38, yes, both. Not cited from any reference, but based on my experience, as I was an English teacher in my home city, so I am sure about the buildings, sure about what is there in the high school. So
that's your assumption, yeah. This is academic writing, this is dissertation. So my suggestion is that that's fine, yeah. I'm just trying to assist you. So put somewhere here that this is based on your experience, your yes, thank you, your personal experience when you taught in your home country, or perhaps you can say this is part of your result of the interview with the teachers there. So please do not make assumption in the academic writing. Yeah, it's okay, you give this, but just put like in the bracket, yeah, based on what. You know what I mean, Pak Milad? Yeah, because this will be a model of dissertation for your friends, for your classmates, Pak Milad. Yeah, that's about methodology. And yes, you also analyze the lesson plans, did you? Yeah, Pak Milad.
Yes, bro. I observed the lesson plans, the lesson plan given in the curriculum.
Yeah, so what indicators or list of descriptors that you use, that you follow to say that this lesson plan has followed or has adhered to communicative approach? Can you explain about that, please?
Yes, bro. Thank you for the thank you for the question. Actually, the model that I followed is based on Sesi Morsia. because it is mentioned in the chapter 2, also page 31, about the characteristics of the communicative approach. And I have found that the lesson plan given in the curriculum resembles or implements the characteristics given by Sisi Morsia of the communicative approach lesson plan.
Can you please give us some examples or evidence?
Yes, bro. For example, the topics reflects the daily life or the social context. The activities, the use of group or pair activities, the use of communicative activities. Those are some characteristics enhanced in the lesson plan given in the curriculum.
Okay, very good. And perhaps this is the last. You promised your readers that the main goal of your research is to make evaluation about the adaptation of communicative approach in the classes. So your findings show some positive and negative perceptions from teachers and students, right?
Yes,
so what are the implications of your research, your findings on future English language teaching in Libya, Pak Milad?
Okay, thank you, bro, for the question. I will give short answer to this because it needs more than 15 minutes to discuss about this. But in short, the enhancement of the adoption of the communicative approach in Libya is inappropriate, because when we go to the literature, most of the studies about the implementation of the communicative approach in Libya, when we see the findings, the researchers say, okay, the English teachers use the traditional methods. English teachers go back to the traditional methods, implement the grammar translation method, etc. But no one gives suggestions, no one gives solution. So the solution is to adapt the communicative approach, not to adopt it. And it will enhance positively the implementation of the communicative approach or English language in Libya in general.
Okay.
If they adapt the communicative approach, they put in consideration some psychological, socio-cultural factors, etc. So it will affect positively to the implementation of the communicative approach and English language in general in Libya.
Okay, well done. Excellent. Thank you, Pak Milad.
Thank you, bro.
Ya. Saya kembalikan ke Bapak Direktur. Matur nuwun, Prof. Agus.
Baik, terima kasih Prof. Muri.
Sami-sami.
Penguji berikut Profesor Dr. Januaris Mujianto M.Hum. Dipersilahkan Prof. Yan.
Terima kasih Prof. Agus Nuryatin. Milad Abdurahman Milad, ya, Abdurahman Ali Milad, ya. First of all, I should like to congratulate you, for finishing your dissertation, even though, of course, you went through a lot of obstacles, and of course, today is a happy day for you.
Hopefully, I mean.
Okay. All right, looking at the title of your dissertation, first is about the use of preposition, preposition, the influence of something, and then influence is followed by what preposition? Influence of something in or on or over or at.
Perception, love. Perception.
Okay, yeah. The influence of something in atau on?
On, but
on,
the title
on.
is perception.
In your title you use in, right? Okay, and then on, and then on. You can say on the implementation, right? Yeah, the influence of gender, psychological, and socio-cultural factors on the implementation of the adapted something. And then it's not necessary for you to have the anak judul, ya, the anak judul, the case study of, langsung saja. You just go on with your title, to teach English language in high schools in Komsen, Libya, right? Yeah, or at high schools in Komsen, in Koms, Libya, right?
yes.
Yeah, it's not necessary for you to have this additional title. Okay, and then here we have in your dissertation, you've got how many research questions? You've got
questions, bro.
seven?
Six.
How many research questions?
6 research questions, bro.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Let me see your questions. Yeah. First question is the planning, right? It's okay. Right. And then number two is number two. Yeah. Research question 2. Is it about perception or is it about implementation?
Bro, the first research questions about perceptions of teachers.
Perception, yeah.
Yes.
You don't have any perception in your title.
Bro, maybe you are browsing the title of from the closed exam because it is changed. Perhaps
Okay, yeah. So what we need to say is to relate, right? Your titles and your research questions. If your title have the term perception, then you can use perception in your research questions. Yeah. But if it is not in your title, then it's not necessary. Yeah, because if you have to have perception, then you have to research, yeah, students' perception. Whereas, did you do research on students' perception or not?
Yes, bro.
Okay, if you did, yeah, if you did the research on perception, then you can use perception, right? Yeah, but then it is a bit difficult for you to insert the word perception in your title. That's a problem. Okay, right? Okay, yeah. And then the next point is about the evaluation, right? Yeah, yeah. What was your evaluation about socio-cultural factors? Yeah. What's the results of your evaluation?
About socio-cultural factors, bro. Thank you for the question. The evaluation in brief was about that. Firstly, most of the students do not learn much from each other due to low English proficiency, as it is explained in page 112. And also some families or the community outside the classroom, outside the school, some react negatively to the students when they use English outside the classroom. They face some mockery or less motivation from the society to the students. And also some of the students do not take English classes seriously because they are planning to study, for example, Arabic in Arabic study programs in college or other religious study programs. So they do not take English classes seriously.
Okay, and then in general, then what is your evaluation? Was it good, very good, excellent, amazing, unbelievable?
It is normal. It is good, but not very good.
It's not very good. It's just good, right? Yeah.
Just good.
Okay. Did you also talk about the relation, relation between gender, psychological, and socio-cultural factors?
Yes, bro. If we connect them to each other, we go, for example, to the main issue of the study about gender. When students of mixed gender schools tend not to engage in group activities, so this is the effect of psychological and socio-cultural or the cultural setting in Libya.
Okay, what sort of relation is it between socio-cultural factor and psychological factor? Is it sort of parallel relation?
Yes, bro.
Is it about controversial relation or something else?
if we go to one of the classification of psychological factors, which is class anxiety, the culture and gender go together, because students have class anxiety in mixed gender schools, because their parents always tell their children, okay, not to engage with other gender, not to shake hands with other genders, for example, not to go out individually, or I mean with other genders. So the relationship goes together with class anxiety, the culture and the gender factors here.
Okay, yeah, because your research was located in Coms, yeah, Libya, and we don't have any idea about the socio-cultural factors in Libya. Could you please tell us something about socio-cultural factors?
Okay, if we compare between the cultural factors between Libya and Indonesia, in terms of gender and culture, in Indonesia, when you teach students, all the students like to participate. They interrupt you all the time. But in Libya, they tend to be silent, especially in high school level, not in college. If you go to college, because the mindset is different, but in high school, they tend to, okay, they accept whatever you say, even though they know it is a mistake, they correct it later, but not in front of you. They tend not to interrupt the teacher. So
okay,
this is
do you know the reason? Do you know the reason?
The reason that children are raised not to interrupt elders. If I am, I mean, not all, of course, but most of them, they tend not to interrupt their parents. Whatever they say, okay, they accept it, they obey. So that is why they are more respectful to elders, to the teachers, whether a female or male teacher.
Okay, so that is a sort of educational result, right?
Yes, bro.
Okay, then. Okay, yeah, and then what is your main suggestion? Yeah, after your conducting your research.
The main suggestion is we cannot go on with non-mixed high schools, because even though we make non-mixed high schools in Libya, they will study with other genders in colleges. So in university level, they will study together. So girls and boys should interact with each other in the educational setting, I mean in high school. So the non-mixed, the non-gender mixed or the non-mixed gender high schools will be inappropriate to teach English in Libya. So mixed gender high schools will be appropriate if they follow the suggestions given in the dissertation. To, for example, start with dividing the groups into boys and girls, and then make one boy with two girls, or two girls with one girl with 3 or 2 boys, and then they can interact with each other fluently.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, thank you. Terima kasih, Prof. Agus Nuryatin. Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
Baik, makasih Prof. Yan. Penguji berikut, Profesor Doktor Rudi Hartono, M.Pd, dipersilakan.
Terima kasih Pak Direktur dan Bapak Ibu semuanya, Bapak Ibu penguji pada hari ini. Well, congratulations on your final work, Mas Abdurahman.
Thank you, bro.
So I hope that today you can pass your exam, and then you can defend your research result. And from this, you can start to open your new world, yeah, listen to English education.
I mean,
you will be a good model in your country, especially. Okay, exactly today, I will not give you some questions, but I want to ask your promise, yeah. You promise that you want to, what do you call that? To describe or to show us what we call that, a kind of model, yeah, because I have suggested you that from your research you should try to build a new model, a new concept, because you are a PhD student, yeah. We need your new finding, we need your new new things, yeah, in the form of novelty, yeah, because it's very important for English education enlightenment and the betterment in Indonesia or maybe next in your country. So before coming to that, I want to give you kinds of please say you can say that it is also a question, but it is just what I want to know from your idea. Yeah, what do you want to build? Yeah, what do you want to build? So you chose this research. Yeah, this topic. Please.
Okay, Prof. Thank you for the question and the suggestion given while we were having the closed exam of giving the a model to follow, because it was crumbled in somehow in the discussion part. So it was your person's comment to collect it together in a table or in a diagram. Actually, the main reason of conducting such a study to upgrade the level of English teaching in Libya, especially in high schools. And the choice of high schools, not, for example, university level, the high schools are the roots of English language in Libya. I mean, the students of high schools are the roots because they will be teachers hereafter. So we should build a good generation, a fluent generation who knows all about English. The lesson plan or the activities given or the model given in the dissertation, it is as explained on table 4.38 on page 103, 104. When we go to the lesson plan, which is well formed and well designed in the curriculum, but it follows the adopted version of the communicative approach. When we go to the implementation in the real classroom, we find some obstacles while implementing that lesson plan. So, for example, the communicative activities. The communicative activities are one of the characteristics faced in Ceci Morcia and other scholars when implementing the communicative approach. But if we go, for example, to mixed gender schools, they will be time-consuming. If we make, for example, group activity with mixed gender students, it will be time-consuming and the allocated time will not be enough. And also, we will face the challenge of anxiety. So the proposed model is for the activities, I mean, to give less communicative activities, but not all the time. For example, if we have 14 meetings, 3 or 4 meetings, we give less communicative activities. And then class by class, day by day, we upgrade or we add or adjust more communicative activities to the students. We cannot give them since class 1. For example, if we go to the open discussions, okay, if the teacher gives the student, actually, in female schools, teachers give the students the space to give the talk about their daily activities, for example. But if I implement this in mixed gender high schools, they will be shy to speak about the daily activities because daily activities of girls and boys are not the same. So perhaps girls will be shy to explain or to explain about the daily activities in front of boys. I mean about the real activities that they do. If we go, for example, to rearranging the furniture, which is one of the characteristics also in implementing the communicative approach, and it is enhanced in the curriculum, I mean in the lesson plans given in the curriculum, but this one also will be time consuming. If we have a class of 25 students and we will arrange the furniture during the class, so the allocated time will not be enough. So the suggestion given in the model is to rearrange. For example, I give the students information before we start the class. Okay, today we will make circles. Just make each 3 or 4 chair circles before we start the class. So this will not be time consuming for teachers. So this is those are examples of the model, the activities that given the model activities given in the lesson plans.
Okay, good. It means that from your observation, from your finding, you should be able to formulate, what what you found from the field, yeah, of your research, yeah, and it will be new things, yeah, especially in your country to implement that formulation for teaching English based on gender, psychological, and socio-cultural factors, yeah. So can you state I mean a big contribution, yeah, what is the contribution from your research after you have been successful to formulate what you have said just now?
Okay, bro. Thank you for the question. Actually, the contributions given to the teachers or the curriculum designers is the main contribution is to adapt, not to adopt the communicative approach, because if we adopt it, it will be inappropriate based on the cultural setting in Libya. The second contribution is there were no literature or no previous studies who studied which studied the psychological factors in detail, or the socio-cultural factors in details, or gender factors in details. So if we go to the literature, for example, the researchers in Libya conduct studies about the implementation of the communicative approach, but in one line or two lines, they say, okay, teachers face challenges in implementing the communicative approach in mixed gender high schools. But what are the challenges? Not mentioned, not yet conducted, or not yet studied explicitly.
Okay,
so
good.
Those are the main contributions, bro.
Yeah, I think that's a good new and good points, yeah, from your research that should be promoted, yeah, especially in your country, yeah, someday, yeah. So please state state your everything in relation to your research in one sentence. I need your one sentence from what you have done.
What sentence cannot conclude what I have working since 3 years, bro. But if we go to one sentence,
only one sentence, everything from your research.
If we conclude the dissertation in one sentence, we will say English language in Libya will be better.
This is just a hope, yeah.
Yeah, this is a hope
not based on your research,
bro.
yeah. Okay, thank you. That's good, yeah. Congratulations. So you will be successful, yeah, to develop your country, yeah, especially in English language.
I mean, bro.
Atmosphere, ya. Terima kasih Pak Direktur, saya kira cukup.
Baik, terima kasih Prof. Rudi. Penguji berikut, Dr. Rahayu Puji Haryanti M.Kum, dipersilakan. Bu Yayu, waktu maksimal 10 menit.
Terima kasih, Prof. Hello, Mr. Abdurahman Milad. Yeah.
Hello, Ibu.
Yes, so congratulations. Yeah, you have done a great job. You have completed your dissertation. Well, if I may say, today, you've done a great job. You know what? Because differentiated learning nowadays is badly suggested, especially with the new curriculum in Indonesia, Kurikulum Merdeka. Yeah. The Minister of Education and Culture has just launched Kurikulum Merdeka, and there differentiated learning is suggested. So your research about the perception of teachers and students, in the implementation of communicative approach in the English language teaching, based on seen from the gender, psychological, and socio-cultural factors, is really valuable. Okay, great contribution to the implementation of the curriculum here, or to this value, to this word value that is appreciating equalization. Okay, well, but I would like to ask you some questions, and hopefully that you give sufficient information and answer. Okay, the first, Mr. Milad, you said that a communicative approach is freedom. Yeah, freedom. I highlighted that. I wrote that here on my paper. communicative approach is freedom. Can you explain further about that?
Okay, thank you, Ibu Yayu, for the question, and thank you for the support, the comments, the appreciated comments before and after the closed exam. Actually, yes, I did. I have mentioned that the communicative approach gives more freedom to teachers and students to interact the English language or practice the English language inside the classrooms, and this was based on the effect of the English language ban in the country, because based on conflicts or political conflicts between Libya and the Western community, the previous regime banned the use of English language from the schools, universities, even though from the signs of the streets for more than 10 years. If we, because maybe some give a question why Libya still implements the communicative approach, not, for example, the other approaches or the general approach. This is the answer because the communicative approach gives more freedom to the students and teachers to interact or to use the language, to be more freer to use it inside the classroom, to interact using the targeted language. Because if we go to other, for example, the general curriculum, the general curriculum does not give the freedom to the teachers and students to interact language as the communicative approach gives. So that is why, Prof, it is mentioned that it gives more freedom to the learners and the teachers to use the language inside the classroom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. And what more is that the target of communicative approach is that students are able to communicate. Yeah,
yes.
That's why that it is more flexible in the process, how to make the students communicate English well. Okay, so you can use any techniques, well, anyway, to go to that goal, right? So it is the freedom is there. So,
yes, bro.
As you mentioned just now, the closing that you suggest that teachers do not adopt the approach, but adapt the approach. And communicative approach is open for adaptation. Yeah.
Yes, bro.
Okay. That is this approach is freedom. Okay, and then it is a surprising finding, Mr. Milad, that you mentioned. Yeah, this is, if I may say, that it's a kind of deconstruction. You have your research, yeah, have deconstructed ideas so far that a mixed class or mixed school is better for English learning than gender-based school. But here in your research, you prove that there are some problems that teachers face when they implement this approach in the mixed school or mixed classroom. Okay, yeah, and this is something you perhaps so far what we believe is that communication should include all, and then it will be better if mixed students, yeah, from both genders, male and female, are combined, and then they can interact better. But in fact, it is not. So in Libya, even the students will become shy, okay, and they will be close, and then in using English, they cannot speak English or interact freely with their friends because of the culture there, that they do not interact openly with across gender. Okay, right. This is one more thing that adds to the advantage of this research. Next is about the differences here, the situation, the socio and cultural situation in Libya. In your opinion, is it does it become the strength or the weakness in terms of English teaching?
Thank you, Ibu Yayu, for the question and the previous suggestion. Actually, since universities in Libya are mixed gender, so we should create techniques to implement English language, whether the communicative approach or other approaches, in mixed gender high schools, because eventually they will study in mixed groups in universities. If we have non-mixed institutions, I mean universities, we can create other techniques to implement the communicative approach in individual or in non-mixed gender high schools. So the techniques or the suggestions or the activities proposed in the lesson plan in this dissertation is to concentrate more on the mixed gender high schools in order to prepare the students to interact with each other communicatively in university level. So that is why eventually they will study in mixed gender groups or mixed gender institutions. So that is why the suggestions given to adapt the communicative approach to follow a special treatment, especially for mixed gender high schools, to make the students or to use the communicative activities or to use any means of activities that serve the communication.
I see. So there should be some techniques suggested for teachers in the gender-based schools in introducing the students to the situation in the further education. Okay, yeah, right. Okay, so related to the strengths, weaknesses. So differences can become strengths. Yeah, in this case, when they study separately, they will be what is that? They will feel free. They will be what's that? There will be some more fun in practicing their English. Yeah, in fact, so that it becomes the strength, but it also becomes the weakness in that they need some more preparation when they go to higher education later. Okay, so it can be strength, it can be weakness. Okay, related to that, I remember the question or suggestion from Professor Swandi just now about the motto. Okay, so in case you need to add more mottos or what is that, take some more academic motto, then you can also what is that, create one that is related to your topic of the research. For example, with communicative approach, socio-cultural differences are the strengths, not weaknesses. Maybe like that, or differences be what is that, implemented in the English teaching or whatever. Okay, what is that? That voice should be accommodated, can be accommodated in your model. All right, next, there's a model. So one more question is about the perception of the people in Libya about the different schools there, like the mixed school and then male school, female school. So how do people see this? Is there any privilege or is there any, what is that, certain feeling like, yes, privilege when they can go into mixed school, or they feel a bit, what is that, downhearted if they go to male school or female school?
Okay, yes, Ibu Yayu, thank you for the question. Actually, for perceptions, if we go to teachers' perceptions towards the implementation of the communicative approach based on the schools, we can find that teachers of male high school prefer their context, and teachers from female high school prefer to teach or to implement the communicative approach in female high school, and teachers from mixed gender high schools prefer to implement the what is it? The communicative approach in mixed gender high school. But perceptions of teachers, if we go to item 2, page 141, from the perception questionnaire, the teachers say classroom setting in mixed gender high schools is not appropriate to implement the communicative approach, but they say inappropriate because they're using the lesson plan given in the curriculum. I mean, they mean about the adopted version of the communicative approach, not the adapted. Because when they face challenges in implementing the communicative approach, they shift it and they go back to the traditional methods. So that is why this study is based on the weaknesses of the literature, that teachers tend to go back to traditional methods and not using the communicative activities or the communicative approach.
Okay, all right. So to close, because time is up, I'd like to give again my appreciation for the new perspectives in English teaching that you have bring to us in choosing what is it in this research. Okay, by choosing this theme. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu.
Pak Agus. Terima kasih.
Baik. penguji 6 terakhir, Profesor Doktor Wirukmini M.Pd. Dipersilakan, Prof.
Still mute, bro.
Suara masih belum.
Oh my God. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sudah.
Yes, bro.
Yeah. Okay. Because it is unmute by the operator. I don't know that. Thank you, Prof. Agus Nuryatin, for giving me a chance to ask question, give comment, suggestion to Pak Abdurahman. Yes. First of all, let me say congratulations to you, Pak Abdurahman, for completing this draft of dissertation. I still say draft because there are some suggestion, advices given by the examiners in this open examination. So to consider all them when doing the revision, right?
Yes, bro.
Okay. Yeah. First, I will talk about what is good in your dissertation which has been revised after close examination. Yeah. First is about the change of the word influence, to become perception. And you delete the word adaptive because
Yes,
actually it is not adaptive communicative approach, but the original one, right?
Yes, bro.
Yeah, okay. Another good thing that you have done is that you provide operational definition of key terms of your study. Yeah, so you give your own definition. Great. Yeah, I'm happy to read it. Yes, to read them, sorry. And then let us move to the next. Actually, you analyze the implementation of communicative approach by considering 3 factors: socio-cultural, psychological, and gender. But why you concentrate most on the gender? Can you explain to us, please? Your most emphasis is on the gender.
Okay, thank you, bro, for the question. Actually, I concentrated more on gender factors because they teachers have or face more challenges in mixed gender high schools. If you go to female high school or male high school, teachers face less challenges in implementing. So it means for the socio-cultural and the psychological factors, they do not affect much or affect negatively much on the implementation of the communicative approach, but gender does. In terms especially of making the communicative activities, not the individual activities, but the group or the pair works. When we are mixing or when the teachers are mixing students from different gender together in one group. But in individual activities, female participate individually and male and participate individually inside the classroom, but not participating more when they are mixing or engaging or involving in group activities. So that is why I concentrated more on gender than other factors.
Yes, because the problems don't match on that factor.
Yes,
right?
bro.
Yeah.
Yes, bro.
But in chapter 2, you also write the theory of socio-cultural and psychological theories. And those theories, hopefully, will be used for you when discussing the findings.
Yes, bro.
Because in the findings, you don't touch much, yes, on those two factors, just like what Professor Woolley has suggested to you. So please do have a discussion by basing on those two factors as well, right?
Yes, Prof.
Yeah. And then let me go on with the finding itself. Yes. You said that the obtaining of data is just by means of interview, questionnaire, and the such. And you haven't mentioned that actually the influence of your teaching background when you used to teach in comms, okay, has been written explicitly. What about if you write down that one as well?
Yes, Prof. It will be added.
Yeah, because, okay, finding of a scientific research should be objective. So write down, please. Yeah, thank
Yes,
you.
Prof.
And then in the closed examination, I ask you to add examples of lesson plan, which, okay, I guess is the adapted lesson plan of the implementation of communicative approach. But you only provide the guideline, right?
Yes, Prof.
Can you add that one, please?
Yes, Prof.
And why only guideline? Can you explain to us?
Okay, Prof. Thank you for the question. Actually, I have added only the guideline of activities, not the lesson plan itself, because the lesson plan is well prepared and well explained and well formed in the curriculum. But the activities, when we adapt the communicative approach, we will not follow the same activities. So that is why I explained in the proposed model, not the model of lesson plan itself, but the proposed model of activities that should be used in implementing the lesson plan given from the curriculum. Because the communicative approach is adopted from the curriculum, but teachers have to adapt it until the stakeholders change or the curriculum designers change the lesson plan from the curriculum.
Oh, and I'm sure that the lesson plan, which is adapted or planned to be adapted, will help you when discussing the finding, when it is related to lesson plan.
Yes.
Result.
Yes.
Yeah. So provide, please.
Yes,
yeah.
Lord.
3, for example, and you can talk a lot on that. Yeah. And then it is also supported by the result of interview. Yes.
Yes. Yes, bro.
And then hopefully this is the last question about your novelties. I'm sure that you have more than one novelty. One of it is the implementation of communicative approach in Libya, particularly in Com City. What
Yes,
are
bro.
others?
Okay, thank you, bro. Actually, the novelties, one of them is to use the adapted version of the communicative approach based on the activities proposed in the discussion part and the findings part. The second one about the gender.
The third one.
Yes,
The
the
third
third
one
one
is
about gender, because perceptions, I have studied about perceptions of teachers in general to know if they have good or positive or negative perceptions. So if teachers have positive perceptions, we can proceed with the study. But if teachers have a negative perception, so we cannot conduct such a study on implementing the communicative approach. So the novelties about the implementation of the adapted CA, about gender, about also psychological and social cultural factors, in implementing the communicative approach in Libyan high schools, particularly in City.
Yeah.
Yes, bro.
Okay, hopefully you really write down explicitly in the introduction so that the readers will go on reading your dissertation because of those novelties. They want to know.
Yeah, yes, Prof. It will be added into the background of the study then.
Yeah, okay. Introduction. Yeah. Thank you very much. All from me. And hopefully if you still feel unsure, you can contact me. Yeah.
Yes, yes, bro.
Talk about that. Congratulations. Yeah, you have excellent answers for all examiners. Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Thank you, bro.
Prof. Agus, that's all from me. Sembah nuwun.
Baik, terima kasih Prof. Rukmini. Dengan demikian maka pertanyaan dan sanggahan penguji ujian promosi doktor selesai.
Ketua penguji menunda ujian untuk memberikan waktu kepada para penguji melaksanakan rapat yudisium.
Untuk memberikan waktu kepada tim penguji dalam menentukan hasil ujian, dengan ini ujian promosi doktor atas nama Saudara Abdurahman Ahmed Ali Milad, M.Pd, dinyatakan ditunda.
Rapat yudisium dipimpin oleh Ketua penguji.
Mana yang lain? Kok kita cuma berdua? Loh.
Ujian promosi doktor pendidikan dilanjutkan kembali. Ketua penguji membuka kembali ujian promosi doktor pendidikan.
Ujian promosi doktor pendidikan atas nama Saudara Abdurahman Ahmed Ali Milad, M.Pd, dinyatakan dibuka kembali. Berikut saya bacakan berita acara ujian disertasi tahap 2. Pada hari ini, Rabu tanggal 10 bulan Agustus tahun 2022, di Pasca Sarjana Universitas Negeri Semarang, UNES telah diselenggarakan ujian disertasi tahap 2 atas nama Abdurahman Ahmed Ali Milad M.Pd pada program studi ilmu pendidikan bahasa Pasca Sarjana UNES dengan disertasi yang berjudul Perception of Teacher and Student Toward the Implementation of the Communicative Approach to Teach English Language seen from Gender, Socio-Cultural, and Socio-Cultural Factors, the case study of Libyan high school in Homs. Setelah dilaksanakan ujian dan dilaksanakan rapat penguji, keputusan tim penguji menyatakan bahwa Abdurahman Ahmed Ali Milad M.Pd dinyatakan lulus sebagai doktor pendidikan. Doktor Abdurahman Ahmed Ali Milad adalah doktor ke-741 lulusan UNES atau doktor ke-142 lulusan Prodi Ilmu Pendidikan Bahasa Pasca Sarjana UNES dengan masa studi 3 tahun 11 bulan. Karya ilmiah disertasi diberi penghargaan dengan nilai A, sehingga IPK menjadi 3,56. Hasil akhir ujian promosi doktor pendidikan dengan predikat kelulusan sangat memuaskan. Atas nama Ketua Penguji, Sekretaris, Profesor Dr. Agus Nurhadin M.Hum. Pembacaan selesai.
Ketua Penguji mempersilahkan promotor untuk menyampaikan kesan dan pesan.
Promotor dipersilakan menyampaikan kesan dan pesan.
Matur nuwun, Prof. Agus Nurhadin, because you have given me a chance to give my kesan and pesan to Abdurahman. Yes. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yeah. First of all, let me first thank you for choosing this institution as your place for furthering your study for your doctorate degree. Second, my congratulations for your success in this examination. So now you are Dr. Abdurahman Ahmed Al-Milad, yes, M.Pd. You have 2 titles, Doctor, capital D and R before your name, and after M.Pd. Yeah, great. Yeah. Now you smile very happily. Yes, unlike when you smile before you are decided. Okay. Before you are a doctor. Yeah. But what about your family, and then do they join this examination?
Yes, bro.
Should
My
I speak
wife-
in English or in Bahasa Indonesia?
They speak English. My
Oh,
wife
so
is,
I should use English language. Yes.
yes, my wife is here and my family are attending online also from Libya.
Oh, great. Yeah. Pak Abdurahman, yeah, you are a wise person for Libya, because as you learn that the condition or political condition of your country is not so good, you decided not away of your country without no reason, but you move to Indonesia for furthering your education. This is really wise. And I still remember that you were first back to Com, for getting married, because you want someone to support you, as you consider that learning for doctorate degree is not as that easy. Thanks, Ibu Abdurahman, for supporting Pak Abdurahman. And there is a kid beside. Yeah, that is also the second result of learning in Indonesia. Yes, that's great. Yeah. I think, your life struggle in Indonesia has been also great, because I still remember when you had a problem financially, then you sold your car, yes, to support your living here. Now, the selling get a reward. Yes, as the reward is now coming to your life. Yes, Doktor. Yeah. Are you working in the university somewhere in Com?
Yes,
No.
Prof. I was working as a lecturer in a city nearby Alcoms.
Okay, so for your institution, family, let me also say congratulations and thank you very much for the support. Now you have a better Abdurahman, as now he is a doctor and shall give lots of contribution to Libya, particularly to English education development in that country. Because I'm sure that a doctor in Libya is not many. It is still rare. Am I right?
Yes, Prof, you are right.
So I'm sure that your coming future will be colorful, right? Yes, great for that. On the behalf of UNES and all members of the board here, please do apologize us when in the process of learning here for your doctorate degree, we cannot give you a great or a good service because of the condition, and I'm sure that it is all right for you, isn't it? Yes?
Yes, Prof.
Yeah. I cannot say much because it is really tiring waiting for giving a chance to ask you questions. Again, great for your success and have an enjoyable journey back home. Or do you want to live here in Indonesia? Okay. And work here? Okay. That is my question. Good luck. We love you. I
Thank
do.
you. Thank you, bro.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's all, Prof. Agus. Thank you very much. Sampun.
Okay, Mbak Ani, please.
Ujian promosi Doktor Pendidikan atas nama Dr. Abdurahman Ahmed Ali Milad ditutup oleh Ketua Penguji.
Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Dan dengan seizin Bapak Ibu serta hadirin sekalian, ujian promosi Doktor Pendidikan atas nama Dr. Abdurahman Ahmed Ali Milad secara resmi saya nyatakan ditutup. Terima kasih. Thank you.
Upacara selesai, dilanjutkan dengan pemberian ucapan selamat. Ucapan selamat diawali dari Ketua Penguji.
Baik, atas nama Ketua Penguji dan Sekretaris Penguji, saya mengucapkan selamat kepada Dr. Abdurahman Ahmed Ali Milad. Sukses buat Anda sudah meraih gelar akademik tertinggi sebagai doktor dalam bidang pendidikan bahasa Inggris. Mudah-mudahan bermanfaat, terutama di dunia pendidikan di Libya sana. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih, bro. Thank you, bro. Bagus.
Dipersilahkan kepada Profesor Dr. Suwandi M.Pd untuk memberikan ucapan selamat.
Baik, terima kasih. Congratulations, Abdurahman Ahmed Ali Milad, for the success of defending the research result. Yeah, and hope that your success will be beneficial for your family and your institution. Yeah. Are you going home to Libya or just stay in Indonesia?
Let's finish and attend the graduation first, and then we will decide. Let's enjoy the moment now, bro.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so you will decide later after the graduation, yeah, whether you will stay in Indonesia forever or you will go home to Libya. Yeah.
Yes. Bro.
All right, good. And I think your government is waiting for you, yeah, to have the development of the education in Libya. Yeah, so hopefully you will be successful there in your country. Yeah, and as you said just now, the education in Libya will be better.
I mean, bro.
Right? Okay. Thank you. Terima kasih, Bu Ani.
Terima kasih, Prof. Dipersilakan kepada Profesor Sri Wuli Fitriati M.Pd PhD untuk memberikan ucapan selamat.
Terima kasih, Mbak Ani. Selamat Pak Dr. Abdurahman Ahmed Ali Milad, M.Pd ya Pak ya. So when you got your master's degree, you achieved cum laude, did you?
Yeah.
Your M.Pd.
Yes, bro.
Ya, alhamdulillah. Ya, you deserve this. I'm happy for you. Semoga barokah, berkah untuk keluarga Pak Dr. Milad. Salam untuk istri tercinta dan untuk your daughter. Ya, alhamdulillah.
Thank you,
terima
bro.
kasih. Ya, terima kasih Mbak Ani.
Terima kasih, Prof. Dipersilakan kepada Profesor Dr. Januarius Mujianto M.Hum untuk memberikan ucapan selamat.
Terima kasih, Mbak Ani. Dr. Abdurahman Ahmed Ali Milad M.Pd. Congratulations. Okay, and remind me to your wife, children maybe. Children, have you got any children?
Yes, I have my wife here and my daughter.
Right. Remind me to them. And don't forget Indonesia, yeah. Don't forget Semarang, yeah. Soon as you return to your home country, then don't be busy with your work and just forget Semarang. Okay, you should always, yeah, remember
Unforgettable.
Semarang, yeah, who that has given you Doktor and M.Pd.
Oh, well, yeah.
Congratulations, yeah. Thank you, terima kasih, Mbak Ani.
Terima kasih, Prof. Dipersilakan kepada Profesor Dr. Rudi Hartono, M.Pd, untuk memberikan ucapan selamat.
Terima kasih Mbak Ani. Oke, selamat dan sukses ya. Barakallah ya. Barakallah fik ya, and also for your family ya. But please keep your spirit of study ya forever and be a successful researcher ya now and then.
Yes.
So you should be able to be beneficial and useful scientist ya for all people in the world. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Mas Abdurahman Ahmed. See
Thank
you
you, Prof.
later.
Rudi.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Prof. Rudi. Thank you.
Terima kasih, Prof. Dipersilakan pada Ibu Dr. Rahayu Puji Haryanti M. Hum untuk memberikan ucapan selamat.
Unmute.
Congratulations and barakallah, Dr. Abdurahman Ahmed Milad. Okay, so you are now one of the language teaching specialists in the world. Okay, and also in Libya. Okay, and this is what is it? There's an added value there, not just English language specialists, but also English language specialists that know well about your country, that know well about your people, that know well about your people's dream. Okay, so hopefully you will contribute a lot to the success of the people in your country, especially in terms of English teaching. Well, I've just met you, but it seems like years. Okay, and yeah, I hope that later on we'll meet again in other academic forums or in other educational situations. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I hope that this project, I mean your research or your study here, make you a better person. Yes, especially because of the challenges in in front of you during your studies here, like the pandemic, and then also some difficulties you face here, and that hopefully will not leave a bad taste in your mouth, but it becomes spirit to make you stronger and be better and better. Okay, thank you. Congratulations again, Dr. Milad. My regards for your family.
Thank you, Ibu Ayu. Thank you.
Terima kasih Ibu, dan dipersilakan kembali kepada Profesor Dr. Dwi Rukmini M.Pd. Apabila monggo, Prof.
Turun, Mbak. Halo. Selamat
Prof.
dan sukses. Do you know what those two words mean?
Yes, Prof, I do.
Yeah. Okay. Hopefully that your doctor will be barakallah for you yourself, your family, your institution, your country, and the world, particularly in English education development. And this is hopefully not a stop after getting your doctor. Please do much thesis so that the coming event will be the promotion of your professor.
I mean, bro.
Yeah. Okay. Best regard to everyone, particularly to your wife and your beloved daughter and your family, okay, in your home country. Success. Great. I'm proud of you. remember us, Indonesia, and the lecturers of UNES. Okay. Lots of success will be in front of you, I hope.
Amin, Prof.
Amin, amin ya Rabbil Alamin. That's all from me. Suun, Mbak.
Terima kasih Prof. Dan kepada Bapak Ibu tamu undangan dipersilahkan untuk memberikan ucapan selamat.
Mbak, ini boleh briefing, nggak boleh? Belum.
Izin boleh Prof?
Hah? Iya, iya.
Baik Bapak dan Ibu, sesi ujian pada hari ini izin kami tutup. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum